Booktube. So something I love about the book community is that there are always new releases to be excited for, whether it be the next book in a really good series, or a new debut book that is just being hyped up a lot, or just a book that you've been looking forward to. So today I'm going to be talking about 13 or so of the books that I'm excited for 2020 and for 2021. This will be a longer video, so I'll leave timestamps in the description to specific books, so you can skip to the books you want to hear me talk about. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first book on my list comes out on September 1st, and that is Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. This is the sequel to Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, which was so popular when it came out, although I did originally hear about it from the very popular Redwood Cindy video that I know will be a banger. I just have to finish the book. And you might be asking, now that you know that, why are you excited for this book if you haven't read the first book? You know, nobody appreciates that question. I just have a feeling that I'm going to like this book. Most booktubers that I follow that I like their recommendations, I've absolutely loved Serpent and Dove. It's witches and fantasy. It has enemies to lovers, which is one of my favorite YA tropes. And I just really think I'm going to enjoy this book. It also has a stunning cover. Alright, so the next book on my list comes out on September 15th, and that's To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. Paolini is famous for his Eragon series, this world that he's created, and I don't think he's ever strayed away from it. I think he's always just writing in that little world, whether it be like short stories or those humongous books that he writes, but now he's straying away, and this is like a sci-fi book. And he was promoting this book on Murphy Napier's website with like this Ray Q&A, which is how I found out about this book, which by the way, I definitely should have found out about this book in any other way because it's Christopher Paolini. But anyway, I don't normally read sci-fi. I think the only sci-fi I have read is from Ray Bradbury, and that's because it's Ray Bradbury. But this book just looks so interesting. I just loved in the inheritance cycle how Christopher Paolini can create these amazing worlds, how he can make them so rich, and how layered his writing is. And I just loved being in that story, even if I did not continue past the second book. I'm just going to try this book out, and if I don't like it, then I just am not a fan of sci-fi. Because, like, Christopher Paolini is a masterful writer, and just everything he said about the writing process and how he wrote this book in particular during that promotion just made me more excited to read it, which is what an author should be doing, right? It says this is epic space battles, and it talks about the wonder of space and the beauty of it. And I'm into that kind of stuff, so I really think I'm going to enjoy this book. Alright, so the next book on my list comes out on September 22nd, and that is Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds. And I'm just sleeping so hard on Justin A. Reynolds. Like, all of his synopses of his books just sound so fascinating, and I think he's such a creative writer when it comes to, like, his ideas for books. People are just loving his books, but I just have not read one of them yet. But trust me when I say I really do want to get to them, and this one is no exception with creative ideas. It's basically about Jamal, who after his best friend dies in like this freakish car accident, he brings his friend back to life, except his friend doesn't know he's been brought back to life. And the system that's brought this best friend back to life will only last for a certain period of time, then he will die forever. And so this book just tackles grief, because these two friends have not actually talked with each other in a couple of years, and it's just about like rekindling that friendship, the tension of being in just that one day, trying to fix everything again, and also how he was trying not to ruin this miracle by not telling his best friend that he has been brought back to life and that he will die again. And I just think it's going to be such a tense book, and that I'm going to enjoy it a lot. It gives me like They Will Die at the End vibes. And by the way, if you do want to read a Justin A. Reynolds book, the Booksplosion is reading Opposite of Always right now for their book club pick, and their live show is on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can still get in on the action. I'm not going to be reading Opposite of Always, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. And also, if you do check this book out on Goodreads, please read the author's review of it. It is hilarious. Alright, so the next book on my list comes out on September 29th, and that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I don't know why I couldn't remember that name. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I saw this book being promoted on Twitter. They're doing like a tour with it. Karen M. McManus is going to be a part of it. And I just looked at the description, and I saw Cinderella retelling. I saw high school. I saw win a scholarship. And that was all it took to put this in this list. But it seems like it's going to be a mystery type book, and I really just want to get it more into the thriller genre. I'm not saying that every mystery book is a thriller, but I mean, mysteries are thrillers, right? I don't think that was a good sentence, but whatever. And basically it's about this girl who inherits this inheritance. I'm just going to stop now. But to inherit this inheritance, I don't know. all I need is 5 seconds to think of a better phrase, but I'm just not doing it. She has to move into this billionaire's house, which is full of puzzles, riddles, weird stuff like that. And she also has to move in with the billionaire's family, one who views her as a con woman, one who views her as a riddle. And caught in this world of wealth and privilege and puzzles, she has to try to figure her way out of this and play the game that this billionaire has put her in. And I just think it's going to be a really interesting and thrilling ride. This book is being called One of Us is Lying meets Knives Out, which I don't know what Knives Out is. But One of Us is Lying was pretty good, so that makes me excited for this book as well. And it also has a pretty good cover. All amazing qualities in a book being compared to one book that I have not read, and it having a beautiful cover, which has nothing to do with the author. High quality content. Alright, so the next book on my list comes out on October 6th, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. If you do not know, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab is one of my favorite books of all time. I just loved it so much. And this is the first time, I think, V.E. Schwab is like going into contemporary realistic fiction, and so many people have received like arcs of this book, and they have just been raving about it, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on it. It's basically about this girl that curses herself to live forever, and so it's about the story that like spans decades and talks about how far a young woman will go to leave her mark in the world. It talks about history and art, and I know it will have that V.E. Schwab feel to it. And then the plot twist is that after nearly 300 years of doing this, Addie stumbles upon a young man in a hidden bookstore that remembers her name, and I just cannot wait for this book. Like, these are all anticipated reads, but this is high up there. I mean, V.E. Schwab, contemporary books, history, and art. This has everything that I love, and I just really think I'm going to enjoy this one, and I cannot wait to read it. It is a bit longer than I think V.E. Schwab's other books. I think they're normally like 300 pages. This one is a whopping 448 pages, so I'm a little worried about the length. So the length will either be a slog, or it will just be more time to be in V.E. Schwab's world. And honestly, I think it's going to be the latter. Alright, so the next book on my list is The Truth Project by Dante Madama. I know I got that one wrong, but I think this one is a book written in verse, and it basically talks about DNA. It's basically about this girl who has this project in her school about DNA, and once she starts school, she's not really stressing about this project. She's thinking to just do it and stress more about reacquainting herself with her former best friend and longtime crush. All she has to do is mail in her DNA sample, and she'll be done with it. But when her DNA sample tells her something weird about her father that she didn't know, and she realized she's not sure of anything anymore about how she came into this world and about her parents. She starts grappling with this question of like, if your life began with a lie, how can you be sure of what's true? And I just think this is a really fascinating question. I just love exploring lies and how they're formed and why people say them. I think it's a really interesting and complex like topic. And also, this is a book in verse, which I just love so much. Obviously, you can really explore a literary fiction book, right? But I think poetry as a medium just lets you explore like that different like lyrical side of yourself. And I just really am excited for this book. I'm going to be doing like a video with the author where I do like an interview and talk about this book. And I'm really excited for that. But yeah, The Truth Project comes out October 12th. I don't even think I said when this is coming now. October 12th. I'm super excited about it. Alright, so the next book on my list is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. This comes out on October 20th. I didn't know that Ashley Poston wrote anything out of Geekerella, but I think she's wrote a lot of books outside of there, which I just didn't know. But this is like a new fantasy standalone, I think. And it's basically about this epic like escape. It's about this girl that has been cursed, and when a new queen is crowned, all these things that made her cursed come back to the surface, and she has to run with her life for her life. I don't know why I just said with her life. Of course she's running with her life. And it's up to her to find this legendary person and find a way to save her home. And as more secrets from her past are uncovered and things become darker and darker on the road, it's going to take everything she has just to survive. And this just sounds like an epic fantasy quest. I'm always down for one of these types of books. And I just loved Geekerella by Ashley Poston. And I just know that the characters in this book will be amazing. I know that it will be such a thrilling adventure. And I just know it's going to be tightly plotted just like Geekerella was. And I'm just really excited about this book. And our main protagonist is just going to be faced with all of these tough questions about being cursed and her kingdom. And I just cannot wait to see how she battles through all of it. And her lows and her ups and all of that stuff, and I just think it's going to be a really good book. Alright, so the next book on my list is not one I'm going to be talking about that much, but that is Ready Player 2. This book comes out on November 24th, and I literally wanted to pre-order the signed edition, and within like 10 minutes, they sold out, so this book is pretty hyped. It's basically the sequel to Ready Player 1, which I still haven't read, but I don't think people expected Ready Player 1 to be getting a sequel, which just makes me a little nervous, because most times when books just give you an unnecessary sequel, they don't turn out good. I just have wanted to read Ready Player 1 for a long time now. It's such a popular book. It has everything that I love. It has VR. It just looks like it's an epic game with like riddles and clues, and I really think I'm going to enjoy it. But yeah, I just wanted to note it. Ready Player 2 comes out November 24th. The next book on my list is yet another sequel to a book I have not read. That is Infinity Reaper by Adam Silvera. This book comes out on March 2nd. I had this in my list as coming out in September, but apparently it's March 2nd now? I don't know why that happened. But yeah, Infinity Reaper, I really want to read Infinity Sun. Adam Silvera always does like these promotional things where he answers questions about Infinity Reaper on his Instagram story, and I always want to read them because they look like fascinating questions. But obviously I haven't read Infinity Sun, but I really want to. I always see it just like staring at me at Barnes & Noble, and like I already have 2 books on my hands that I need, and I just always have not chosen Infinity Sun as the book I check out, but I just need to read it. It's an Adam Silvera book. Oh, by the way, plugging the Next Chapter Book Club. Links in the description. For our August book, we are reading One of It's Us by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. Please join us. The last one was so much fun. We read Slay, so you can definitely go check out that live show. But yeah, we are going to be discussing What If It's Us in early September on the D Ready Reads channel. Again, all the links are in the description. Infinity Sun, Infinity Sun, Infinity Sun. You're welcome. Alright, so the next book on my list is another one I am so excited for, and that is Lure by Alexandra Bracken. This one comes out on January 5th, and it has mythology in it. Whenever a book is based on like mythology, I just get so hyped for it. Obviously, we have the Percy Jackson series and just everything Rick Riordan and Rick Riordan Presents do. But other than that, we don't have a lot of books based off of mythology. We have retellings of like really famous fairy tales. We don't really get a lot of books based off of mythology, especially in YA, because I think all the Rick Riordan Presents books are technically middle grade. And this book is basically based off of Greek mythology, and it talks about power, destiny, love, redemption, all things I'm just so fascinated by. Seriously, Jesse the Reader said this in one of his videos before, but whenever books give descriptions, it just reveals some of the plot. Like most times it's at least the plot of the first 50 pages, if not like the first 100 pages. And instead they should just give us buzzwords, because those just always make me excited, because those are the things I look at first. Whether it be love, art, history, redemption, all that sort of stuff just makes me excited. And I don't really like reading the description most times, because I'm already hooked by like the author, or the cover, or the buzzwords. But it's basically about Greek mythology in the city, which just makes me really excited for it. And yeah, just like To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, the description looks so complicated, I don't have time to read it and explain it to you guys, but just, I'm really excited for this book. The next book on my list is The Universe of Wishes, which comes out on January 5th. I don't read many anthologies. When I do, it's because more than one author that I just really love is included in it. And with this book, there's so many authors. We have V.E. Schwab, Samira Ahmed, Ike Stone, just so many authors that either I have heard of or I've read, and I am just so excited for this book. And this anthology is going to be about diversity and creating a better and more powerful world. I just cannot wait to read it. Alright, so the next book on my list comes out on January 12th, and that is Concrete Roads by Angie Thomas. This is actually one of the first videos I made on my channel, and then I took it down. But it's basically like a 6-minute video about me talking about why I was so excited for Concrete Rose. And yeah, I am really excited for this book. Basically, it is exploring Maverick, who was the father of Star and The Hate You Give. Before he was the father of Star, his upbringing, his story, and I'm just so excited for this book. I love Angie Thomas and her writing and her characters, and I just think she has a lot to explore with Maverick's character, and I just know she's going to do a great job with it. She did reveal a little sneak peek in the exclusive edition of On the Come Up. I was so excited for this book that I needed to read the sneak peek, and that just made me more excited. It basically talks about Maverick becoming a father and just growing up. Alright, the last book on my list comes out on February 9th, and that is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forma. This book has a beautiful cover. Yeah. No, seriously, I'm super excited for this book. It's been hyped up a lot, and the buzzwords that I'm seeing in certain points in the description just make me really excited for it. And I will leave a link to like this pre-order campaign that they are doing in the description. It looks really cool. But yeah, guys, that is 13 books. I hope I covered them all. Halfway through this video, like my camera died or like my car filled up. So if you saw like some camera change, that was why. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, comment down below if you're also excited about these books or just any thoughts you have of the video. I always respond to comments, love getting them. Subscribe, I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I'll see you next time with another video. Bye.